Hello, YouTube. Welcome. We have a special guest. He's kind of substitute, but I guess he's good enough. He's good enough for the show, I suppose. So
Yeah. The boss is away, so the water boy has to take his place.
the water boy. So yeah, originally we had emergent reasons scheduled for tonight, but some unforeseen circumstances came up, and instead we got Manager and Username. Let's just start there. Like, what's your involvement working with emergent reasons? I had his name somewhere. I met him in Australia, but you just know people by their usernames, and so
John Yeri.
John. Okay, it is John.
Yeah, it's on the General Protocols website. So
yeah, I did see that. That's where I saw it. So yeah, what's your involvement in AnyHedge, working with John, and then you guys also like work together in Flipstarter and Bitcoin Cash Node, correct?
Yes. Our working relationship mostly started off with with an idea we had earlier last year, actually, which was it was a few months after the activation of Object Data Sync. And Check Data Sync, as we all know, even before we got the idea very quickly after its activation that we can use it to restrict the output of any given transaction. We already know that, Check Data Sync's most obvious use is to incorporate oracles into a transaction. Duh, right?
Duh.
So after that, and then we also learned about the possibility to restrict outputs. We then, I basically got the idea in a conversation. I don't remember which channel it was, but it was in Telegram. And then I was like, hey, wait a second. We can basically do something kind of like futures contracts with that, right? So we got that idea. I got kind of obsessed with it for a while, and then I went around talking to people, and some people like it, some people like me. And then I talked to Mark Lundenberg. I hope you can get him on the show sometime.
Yeah.
Sometime soon. I talked to Mark Lundenberg as I described the idea to him. I was like, okay, dude, I just talk to you about this. This is not crazy, right? I'm not just going all. I'm not just going out of my depth, right? It was like, oh no, that was all right. And then so he encouraged me, and I got even more obsessed with it. I went around, I have limited programming capability, unfortunately. So I went around showing this idea and the basic design and concept to people, and then in the conversation, emergent reasons, we heard about that, and we figured out that, wait, you know what is futures? And then it's not just futures. You can do a lot of things with it. You can stabilize things with it. At that time, it was also all the rage. Stable coins was also all the rage around the place. People were really trying to push. People were really trying to push it around. Well, that trend kind of still stuck around today, but we're like, whoa, you know what? This can be a form of kind of really radically different solution, and so he got obsessed, and so we talk about it, and then it's a long-winded and complicated story, but I wouldn't bother you with it. But long story short, we also got Jonathan on board, and then we formed a company. We went around quoting investors, and also developed the thing in the meantime. And then we went to Cryptophile, and then we found out that Cryptophile is trying to do a decentralized exchange. A better word for it is probably non-custodial exchange, but anyway, which fits as well. And then and so we work on it a lot, and that was how we started.
So this is for general protocols.
So we started. We first had the idea for the product, and then General Protocols is a company that we formed around it.
Okay.
basically.
Gotcha.
We have visions that general protocols, if it's successful, we can expand to all other kinds of financial products. But that is after the first part.
Gotcha. Okay. Yes. Yes, I did get a haircut, and my wife did it. So I don't go anywhere to get a haircut. So I don't care if all haircut places are closed.
Did you just buy it off Amazon or something?
Yeah, I clippers. I just. I can
Well,
cut.
I guess that works.
I can cut my own hair, but I got a wife now, so I can just have her do it. Okay, so moving back a bunch of shitload of steps. So check data sig verify. Can you summarize this? Explain like I'm 15. Check data sig verify. What does it do and why is it magical?
Aha. Well, the concept itself is actually really, really simple. Basically, Bitcoin and by extension, Bitcoin Cash has always have this capability that is called checksig. Checksig's operation is simple. You have a signature that pertains to the transaction, and well, whenever you call up checksig, it verifies a signature against the transaction and see, well, if this signature compared to this public key or address is really fits the transaction that we are signing. And if it matches, it gives you a thumbs up. If it doesn't, well, it fails, and the transaction doesn't work. Upcheck data sig is a conceptually very simple modification. Instead of checking the transaction, how about we just allowed it to check for anything it feeds it? It doesn't have to be a transaction anymore. Okay. You can feed it something else. I can feed you a ticker or any message telling you whatever content. As long as it has a message, it has a public key to verify against, and it has a signature, then it can say good or bad.
Okay, so it checks something besides the transaction. It checks data that you feed it. So how does this data, like a price number, how does that get fed into the blockchain?
Right. So basically, feeding the data into the blockchain is the responsibility of people who post a transaction. People who post a transaction will have to grab it from the oracle, either by hand or more likely by some other automatic feeding mechanism, a bot or a exchange interface or anything. They will have to grab it from their preferred source of truth, commonly known as an oracle, and then post it all in a transaction so that every node on the network can check it.
Okay, so you post the trusted oracle in, say, when you open the smart contract on Bitcoin Cash, right? You say, hey, this is our oracle from now on, right? Something like that.
Well, it's not like the blockchain is a machine where you click into a box and say, hey, point to this oracle and check against it from now on. That's not how it works. The blockchain doesn't do crap. The blockchain just cares that, okay, in the previous transaction, you buried a public key in the P2SH that you posted. And if you want to spend this coin, you better post a message. You better post a message and a signature that pertains to the public key that you told it before. And yeah.
Okay. I pretty much followed you. So how let's go up another level. How is this different from Ethereum and Bitcoin Cash, like using oracles in Ethereum? I mean, just going to whole Turing completeness stuff at this point.
So in terms of pure programmability, I would say that in general, this has been this has been going on for so long, and it's been disputed by certain somebody, but that's basically a meme. But to be honest, from a point of view of pure programmability, Ethereum is just more powerful than Bitcoin or Bitcoin Cash based systems. That is undeniable. It's fair to say that almost anything you can do on Bitcoin, you can definitely just do on Ethereum. It's possible. Well, whether you can do it well is another thing. But yeah, the difference, I think, is less in terms of what's theoretically possible. A lot of those things are interchangeable, but rather, how we actually do them, and how we fit what we do on to fit the strengths of each system. Like, for example, on Ethereum, the way people generally use DeFi, and by extension the oracles that's on DeFi on Ethereum, is by having a large and very sophisticated contract that basically acts almost like a machine. You have a contract address, and whenever you want to do a thing, you call that contract, feeds it a bunch of things, and it spits things out, or it can do a lot of wonderful things. That is done by a central contract. This contract can go on to do weird things like keep money around for a liquidity pool, exchange, and blah 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 whatnot. There's a lot of things, and you're probably better off asking one of the East people. On Bitcoin Cash, we want to fit the very different fundamental structures of the network. That doesn't really, I would say it doesn't really work well for the things that Ethereum people are very used to do, if you may, which is you have a large, central, sophisticated contract, and then you pull everything together into that and work on that. Instead, we have a very, I would say, it's almost like it's dispersed structure, where each transaction is independent. Each transaction, there's no global variable. Transactions don't interfere with each other's operation, and every time you start a contract, that contract is independent. And the only decision the network can decide in the end is that anytime you post a transaction that spends a coin, whether you're allowed to spend that coin or not. That's it. That's the end of it. And so this is the fundamental structure of Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash. So what we do here is that, well, we now have this object check data sync capability, and we have this structure. Let's make full use of it. And so we took advantage of that structure, and I think we got something unique in that we don't have a very centralized control over the contract, and instead we got something that has less systemic risk, more privacy, albeit with less sophisticated features. I think we got something unique here.
Yeah. So yeah, that was a lot. I followed you, so that's good. I understood everything you just said. So we're working up here. We're working the brain cells out. So yeah, you have something unique. So obviously this can't happen in BTC because you don't have the check data sig verify, and it'd just be too expensive to do anything like that.
It's less that the fees are expensive there. I mean, DeFi can tolerate some fees. It's sometimes okay if the fees go up, but it is fatal if it fluctuates wildly. You don't know what the fees are.
Yeah,
that will be very bad.
Right.
So yeah, on that regard, Bitcoin Cash is definitely better.
Right. By the way, what's up, Betty Moan group? Yeah. So, oh fuck, I just said that. Then I was gonna say, Wow, totally lost my train of thought there. AnyHedge gives you the ability to create new markets using the infrastructure. So, wow. I thought I had such a exciting thought and a really good question, and then poof, it went away. So, AnyHedge gives you the ability to create new markets with your existing infrastructure. So, this is talking about derivatives here. So, you can essentially create a market for anything you want. Okay, I know what I wanted to ask. Okay, going back, decentralized finance, DeFi. That's a kind of like, it's a buzzword now, right? It's a very buzzword now in ETH. Like, oh, we got DeFi.
It's been a buzzword for a while. Yeah.
Right. So, in your own terms, short sentence or two, what is DeFi?
It is a buzzword, and a lot of people different people interpret it in different ways. My preferred interpretation is just financial products that move some functions that are performed traditionally by centralized and custodial markets onto decentralized, non-custodial blockchains. It doesn't even necessarily need to be blockchains. There are a lot of there are some decentralized systems that probably doesn't count as blockchains anymore. That also advertises its capabilities. But yeah, generally you move financial products that are custodial and centrally performed, and and all the things that comes with it is censorable, and third party. You have to trust third party. It's trusted onto things with less trust, non-custodial, decentralized, and censorship resistant platforms.
Yeah, but why would you want to go decentralized when you can go centralized and then you can just get bailed out by your government?
That is that is definitely a perk for some people, and it's a drawback for some other people, right? I'm sure there are people. Who love that, and they hold trillions of dollars.
Yeah, this is when we activate that money printer. Go brr. All right, get out of here. So give me an example. So instantly take a position on an asset, on any asset with a price. So what do you expect the first applications of AnyHedge to be?
So our first external asset, we actually debated this a lot, both internally and with with also curious people who want to ask questions, and potential partners and investors. They all ask us about this. But our first external asset is the most obvious one, the USD, the US dollar. And because we will have to be based on Bitcoin Cash in any case, that pair is therefore USD/BCH. We had this big debate with people about which one is actually the asset and which one is actually the currency. Because of the way we structure, because of the way AnyHedge is structured, everything is denominated in Bitcoin Cash. It is natural that all the following terms we use pertains to any external asset as the asset that we use Bitcoin Cash to long or short or do whatever against. This would sound there wouldn't be so much problem if we are, say, betting, if we are hedging against corn, or even some of the or even something else that is more familiar, like gold, or pieces of treasury bonds. But it turns out that was kind of counterintuitive when you are doing this USD. What do you mean US dollars is an external asset? Of course, Bitcoin Cash is an external asset priced in US dollars, right? No, US dollars is just another asset and is being printed en masse right now by the US government. Bitcoin Cash is cash. But yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, so that makes sense. So, like a USD market. So, how would this like work in practice? Would there kind of be like essentially like a decentralized exchange, kind of like is Cryptophil's new exchange going to be leveraging this? Now that I just connected those two.
So we are in close cooperation with Cryptophil over their new brand. They are going to release a second brand called D-Token. They actually announced it a while ago.
Yep.
So D-Token is going to be a non-custodial exchange, and it's going to feature AnyHedge as part of its futures options. So we are pretty excited about that, and the strength of AnyHedge is that it doesn't have a centralized contract that pools liquidity. That strength leads to one of its unique needs compared to contracts on Ethereum. Contracts on Ethereum, well, everyone is pulled together, and you can write very complex, very sophisticated contracts that handles all those pools. So you don't need anyone else. The smart contract will handle all the matchmaking and whatever. In our case, everything is independent of each other, which is a big strength. In the things that we hope will turn out great. But on the other hand, we kind of need people to piece things together.
Right.
To find buyers for sellers and to find sellers for buyers. Nobody's gonna there's nothing that will just sit there and manage that book. And so that is where decentralized exchanges come in. And so we're very, very excited about the partnership with D-Token. And aside from D-Token, we also want to grab other exchanges that has any interest in doing this kind of decentralized exchange, and also over-the-counter desks, OTC desks, where this is almost a natural fit because it reduces a lot of operation uncertainty and risk for them. And so yeah, that is where we are at.
Nice, cool. Somebody asked a question earlier. Is there a repo to look at the code for this, AnyHedge or General Protocols?
Yes. You should be able to find it on the website.
All right, you should be able to find it on the website. Somewhere around here. GitLab. Yeah. So click GitLab and you get the code stuff. So white paper's there. Cool. So yeah, you guys are coming for Ethereum's launch, eh? Cause yeah, I just remember like using a DEX on Ethereum a while back during the token phase 2017, and like you could like lock and unlock your tokens, and then it like cost gas every time you did that. And like, wait, where'd my money go? I'm just trying to unlock and lock my coins. So yeah, just with like the cheap transaction fees of Bitcoin Cash, I can just imagine it's gonna be so much better from a user experience standpoint, and not losing money whenever you want to do something.
Yeah, and there are rooms for improvement for things on Ethereum, and I don't want to diss things on Ethereum. They are doing something cool,
yeah,
and I think they can proceed to make it a lot bigger. But we're doing something different. So
yes, they are indeed. So yeah, so if I wanted to like buy potatoes, or I would guess I would bet on the price of potatoes, I could put up a bid somewhere on some exchange, and somebody could buy my short.
So, for example, if an exchange wants to launch a potato packed product, so we can set up a potato oracle. That oracle will constantly feed you price about how many potatoes per Bitcoin Cash.
Mm-hmm. Well, that'd be a pretty useful metric.
And you can even set up a couple of them, distribute them so that you have less trust in each of them. And then, well, you can then match people together and enter contracts where one side just got some Bitcoin Cash, but I don't want Bitcoin Cash. I have more confidence in potatoes. So that's one side, and the other side was like, okay, that's fine. I think I don't think so. I think Bitcoin Cash has more potential than potatoes. So yeah, let's do this. And so they can do it offline, they can do it through an exchange or whatever, or some other kind of desk. And you got a transaction. And so a few months later, or even a few days, a few weeks, or a months later, it's the time for truth. Well, is the potato prices in Bitcoin Cash go up or go down, and you take their profits or losses.
I don't know. I'm pretty long on potatoes, so
not a bad choice.
The utility's always going to be there. I mean,
I know, right? Well, I mean, on the other hand, it's a perishable, and people's diet. People want something else, right? Maybe there's a sweet potato craze or something.
Yeah, sweet potato craze is true. That could be a separate market for sure. Okay, moving on. Flipstarter is cool. I talk about it a lot. It's basically Kickstarter, but you don't have to give your money out until all of the pledges met, all of the fundraiser met. So we're gonna watch a video by Bitcoin Out Loud, aka John Moriarty, and I think we can go to this one here. Nope, not that one. We'll stick here, I guess, and we'll watch it.
Flipstarter is a trustless funding platform built on Bitcoin Cash. It functions similarly to Kickstarter, where funds are pledged to a project, but those funds are only collected if the full funding goal is reached. Currently, you need the Electron Cash desktop wallet, as well as the Flipstarter Electron Cash plugin to make a pledge. While this setup isn't ideal, it is usable right now, as Flipstarter explores other options, including smart contracts and/or new payment protocols. In this video, I'll walk you through making a pledge to the Flipstarter campaign being run by Bitcoin Cash node, but the process will be similar for any current Flipstarter campaign. If you're installing Electron Cash for the first time, make sure you get it from electroncash.org. And make sure to verify the signatures and checksum hashes if you want to be 100% sure you're getting the software you think you're getting. To download the Flipstarter plugin, select a pledge amount on the Flipstarter webpage interface, and then click the download link below the second step. To install the plugin, leave the zip file you downloaded uncompressed. Navigate to the plugin manager in Electron Cash by clicking Installed Plugins in the Tools menu, and click Add Plugin. Select the Flipstarter zip file, confirm that you are aware of the risks of installing plugins, and then the plugin will be added as a tab in the Electron Cash main window. You can now delete the zip file you downloaded if you want to. Now that it's time to make your pledge, you may notice that the minimum pledge is something like 1.6 BCH. This is due to a limitation in the scheme Flipstarter currently uses to make the process trustless. Only so many inputs can be added to the anyone can pay transaction used to build the funding transaction. So to be sure that the funding goal is reached, each input must be at least a certain amount. Again, this is just a temporary limitation as Flipstarter investigates more flexible solutions. Also, as pledges come in that are larger than that amount, the minimum pledge size will go down. After selecting and confirming your pledge amount, optionally enter a name and comment. Then copy the details text on the left and paste it into the Paste Pledge Details box in the Flipstarter plugin tab. Confirm that the amount, name, and comment are correct, and then click Confirm Pledge. The plugin will then generate your pledge as a new string of text on the right side of the plugin, which you then copy and paste to the text box on the right side of the web page's interface. Finally, click Submit Pledge and you're good to go. Submitting your pledge won't actually send a transaction from your wallet. Instead, you will have just provided the building blocks for your part of a transaction that will only be broadcast if the campaign is fully funded. To reserve the coin you've pledged to the campaign, the Flipstarter plugin will freeze that coin, essentially setting it aside for when that funding transaction is broadcast. You can undo your pledge at any time by choosing the Cancel All Pledges option from the drop-down menu. You can also undo your pledge manually by unfreezing the coin from the Coins tab and then sending it to a new address.
So there you go. Yeah, so I did this during the Happening live stream. I did it towards the end. I mean, it's 5 hours, 8 hour stream or whatever, ridiculous. And yeah, it's super easy. You just it could be a little more integrated for sure, a little more user friendly, but like for what it is in the crypto world, it's pretty easy to use. If you know how to use Bitcoin Cash, you shouldn't be too scared to use it. Just copy pasting some long strings of symbols in one place to another. So yeah, you guys had a couple test campaigns so far, and people definitely gave money. I mean, it wasn't a huge amount of money by any means, but yeah. So what's gonna be the first one coming up? Bitcoin Cash node. It's gonna be the first fundraiser.
All the participating nodes, at least the ones that has written proposals and submitted them, are actually going to be run simultaneously.
Okay.
And they're going to be run simultaneously, and people who are interested can choose to donate to one or more of them, or to all of them, whatever they like. And the proposals and abstracts are all going to be on the website and for people to see.
Gotcha. When do you have a date these are going to be launching?
The exact start date. This is where the water boy cannot answer with very firm authority. But I think it's I think it's this Friday.
This Friday. Nice. Coming quick. So yeah, transitioning into Bitcoin Cash node. So you and John, Emergent Reasons, also been working on this together, along with many other people I believe are involved in this. Compared to
Free Trader is our lead maintainer, lead cat herder, lead whatever with that.
He's the boss. He's the unofficial boss. How about that?
He could get pretty upset if you actually call him the boss. But yeah,
he's the spiritual leader. How's that?
It's not exactly spiritual leader. He actually herds the freaking cats. So
herding cats, you said? Okay, he's a cat herder. All right, Free Trader's the cat herder, Bitcoin Cash node. So yeah, you guys have. I was just checking out this PDF you guys have. I don't know where it ended up. But it's kind of like your roadmap for the rest of the year, right? And there's been a lot of talk recently. The most messed up part about Bitcoin Cash currently, as it stands, is the difficulty going absolutely nuts, and it only got worse with the halvening. And so right here are the oscillations that happen. So covered this a lot. If you don't know what happens, basically a bunch of miners mine Bitcoin Cash to get a lot of Bitcoin Cash, and then they stop mining. Difficulty goes down. No blocks are found for a while, oftentimes like 2 hours, no blocks, and then difficulty goes down, and they all rush to mine it again. And the halvening only made this worse, as you can tell right here. And so there was a proposal, I believe, that was put out. This is by ASIC Seer. Yeah, somebody from ASIC Seer. And
it's less a proposal than an interface that they built to help miners who care about this, help the situation before we can elevate it further with difficulty adjustment algorithms.
Yes. So okay, so it's an interface to help miners, and essentially what it does is, I believe this is the code right here. Basically, when I believe it takes the average difficulty lasts like 24 hours, and whenever it drops below the average, it tells the miners to mine Bitcoin Cash. And I think it's at 0.98. Thanks for the space, bro. And then when it goes above, you stop mining Bitcoin Cash. And essentially what this will do is even out the oscillations a little bit more, right?
Right. So the thing this algorithm will do. I mean, of course, I didn't write it. So the author can probably tell you more about it. But the way I understand it about this algorithm is that it's an idea that is, once you hear about it, is almost it's almost so simple that you wonder why nobody has brought this up before. So right now the problem with with a lot of the oscillating hash rate that is going on, the unknowns, Pullen, and large part BTC top, is that, well, you have they respond, but their response kind of lags. So they wait around, and they wait around for the profitability to be much lower, and they want to make really sure that the difficulty went down a lot and is very profitable before they jump in. And well, when they jump in hard with a lot of hash rate, and because the algorithm responds not very quickly, at least slower than we like. Once they jump in, they can produce a lot of blocks at using not that much power, and do that for a while before jumping out again. And so because they do this with kind of a lag to make really sure, this leads to what we see just now, what you have shown. So what he proposed here is that, well, this guy wants to swing hard at the worst possible moment and push difficulty both ways in a really, really harsh way. How about we do what they do, but we do it much faster and do it in a much more responsive way. You can see on his website that there is a threshold that I think before it was like 99%, but I think he relaxed it a little bit to 98%.
Yeah.
But basically, well, if you are going to wait a bit and make sure that it really profits you before you jump in really hard, how about I jump in before you and make sure you never get to that threshold? And so to smooth out the whole curve.
Yeah, so he's like kind of, yeah, it's kind of like backwards, because it's like trying to do it more efficient. He's trying to game it more efficiently than the gamers, but overall it'll make the oscillation smoother.
Right. So basically, if the algorithm is not, if we don't think the algorithm responds in time, then I will respond in time with my hash rate. And I'll jump in before them, and hopefully squeeze a little more money out of this. Not that much, but it's better than if I just stick to the traditional we'll say persistent miner role and just blindly mine ahead without any care in the world.
Yeah, for sure. Somebody asked in the chat, why is it bad if there are oscillations? Isn't this normal when prices are down? Oscillations are only really a problem in Bitcoin Cash just because of the relative hash rate of the total SHA-256 compared to BTC. As you can see here, the oscillations before the halvening were kind of bad. And then, so this is the speed. This is how fast the blocks came. And so you do see the orange is BTC. You can see it a little bit, but it's not as extreme as BCH is. And I mean, it just sucks to wait for confirmations. It's kind of Bitcoin Cash kind of relies on zero conf a little bit, but zero conf is only reliable when you get consistent blocks. And so, if
not just that, but a lot of use cases actually need more security than zero conf. We talk about zero conf a lot, but we also add a caveat at the after we shield it, saying that zero conf is useful, but with some limitations. You don't want to go very high amount, and you should. It is more usable in some situations than others, and so on and so forth. A lot of situations really just call for a confirmation, like exchanges, especially if they want to allow the wider set of users that they don't want to put that much trust in. It is a real problem that they want at least one confirmation that they really, really need it.
Right. For sure. Yeah. I mean, it's just. I mean, that's kind of. It does suck too, because I mean, a lot of the normie use of Bitcoin Cash and crypto in general is exchanges, and then when the confirmations don't come because they're not mining it, they're like, oh, why is Bitcoin Cash slow? And so that's just not a good user experience either, just from a practical, not even like a technical standpoint. It's just like, hey, why am I not getting confirmations? It sucks.
Yeah, and then you tell them all these reasons.
Yeah, and
that reason they don't care. Yeah.
Just goes right over their head. Alex actually just said, the guy who does this gaming, the gamers, he just said he set to rolling 36 instead of 24 hours because the oscillations were happening more or wider than one day. So he did just say that. So hopefully we can.
I don't really catch that. But...
It is just in the Telegram chat, Bitcoin Cash node Telegram, and so. Obviously that's just kind of to help smooth the oscillations, but there needs to be a new difficulty adjustment algorithm. It's kind of like the overall feelings I get from everybody. I mean, just
we've long speculated. Okay, maybe if we get to the flipping, we don't give a crap about this anymore. Well, you know what? We kind of have a problem to solve here, and it's it's been a while. It's clear that it's not gonna solve itself, and we can't just wait for maybe one day we will get to one BCH is one BTC, and then this is not a problem. No, we can't just sit there and pray and wish.
2.5 years later, it's like, I guess we haven't flipped yet. Let's figure this out. So, I mean, I know this is kind of super into the technical details, asking about the algorithm change, but this is Bitcoin Cash nodes PDF kind of improvements to be done, and I guess I don't even know what to ask. Is there progress on this? Is there research? Is there promising things that can be pursued from here? Where are we at when it comes to this?
So there are quite a few research that has been done both on this in all the way back to late 2017 when people were debating about a new DAA for Bitcoin Cash, and also research that was done in altcoins, and Jonathan Tumim has recently written a fairly cute DAA simulator. There are a lot of tools and a lot of pre-existing research. The job here is to piece them together and fill in the blanks, because they are done piecemeal. A lot of them, they provide algorithms, but they haven't completed all the research. They don't consider all the benefits and cost. The universal benefit that we are seeking is obviously that we hope that this algorithms will lead to less oscillations in block production rates, and most of these algorithms generally do that by being more responsive and make sure that the profit gap between persistent miners and switch miners are less. Some algorithms, some more radical departures do it some other way, but I won't go into the details. And then we have to consider the cost. How far they depart, what kind of additional modifications to the software we need to do, and if they depart a lot. A very radical example is bobtail. If you go bobtail, well, bobtail is a pretty solid thing to do, but it departs a lot, and so software that currently checks for proof of work might need to be modified more extensively, and also you might then get into other questions about how exactly are you going to coordinate all the additional things that bobtail requires and things like that. So our job is to pull these things together, fill in the blanks, and evaluate the whole thing. Large parts of it has been done, but there are more work.
Mm-hmm. Always more work. Something in chat said, when the value is low, don't all SHA-2 fixed coins tend to slow down over time? Say 10 years, the oscillations will smooth and value should remain higher overall. Well, no, because the difficulty should adjust. Bitcoin Cash, the difference between BTC and BCH is BTC difficulty adjusts every about 2 weeks, and Bitcoin Cash adjusts every block. And so it's just different because Bitcoin Cash had to change because it is a minority chain. So technically, with the difficulty adjustment, they shouldn't ever slow down. They should always be an average of 1 every 10 minutes. And the oscillations should smooth. I mean, the just in general, the higher absolute hash rate you have, the less oscillations will happen. So, and value should remain higher. And it's a price question. And so, yeah, as far as like implementing a new difficulty adjustment algorithm, I know ABC has like at this point they put out the roadmap and they have agreed that they do want to do more research into changing this and helping to fix it. And so do you see, I mean, hopefully the nodes can come together for November and put something together with consensus, right?
Well, they say they are going to do it. Let's see what they do, and let's see if they actually listen to anything sensible this time. We'll see.
Yeah, because I know there was, I mean, people have raised concerns over it, but they were just kind of like dismissed up to this point, right?
Right. And well, I hate to bring this up, but you know, the last time they did it, they backed up their algorithm by saying that, well, we also have two other organizations do independent research and say this should be it. You know, one of those organizations turned out to be AnyHedge. So we'll see. We'll see.
We'll see.
Maybe it'll be good this time. We'll see.
Yeah, hopefully, because again, this is like the worst, the worst user experience part of Bitcoin Cash is by far the oscillations and the hash rate, and so yeah, as far as like Bitcoin Cash node funding, you guys have like the budgeted broken down for each feature you guys have, right? And that's kind of a new thing. Rather than like asking for a lump sum. I know ABC was starting to do it too. Like ABC had like a lump sum and then a feature thing kind of separate. So I know that's something Free Trader wanted to do, is like feature by feature thing. And so it will be seen like, so are you guys going to have like separate Flipstarter kind of campaigns for each of these?
So in case people haven't noticed, we are a very freshly put together team, relative to some other teams. And so this one, our first Flipstarter campaign, is intended to build a solid foundation as well as address some immediate needs we have lined them up in it. And for the other features, I think the point is that those features, some of them we think are pretty good ideas, but people who are interested to seeing those happen should really pay for the cost to get those things to happen. And so it is our intention that we provide a venue for people to express that.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. And I saw the where to go. You have like the unconfirmed transaction chains in there.
What you're scrolling through right now are items that are in this immediate campaign.
Sorry, say that again. You cut out.
What you're scrolling through right now is what's included in this immediate campaign that we think it's better addressed right now in this campaign. And there are individual lists that we hope we can do after this. But that is later.
Gotcha.
Down in the document.
Gotcha. And so, it will remain to be seen if you guys can fully fund stuff, I suppose. And so, funding has been the forefront of debate for a while. God, when did they introduce that? Like February? It's only been like a month and a half. Feels like a goddamn year. And so I think there was something about rolling checkpoints in. Yeah, here it was. And so there's a specification gap for the rolling checkpoint. So this basically just means it wasn't like written out, detailed enough, so people doesn't actually know like how it works, right?
Yeah. Generally speaking, whenever you introduce a thing that affects, especially for consensus, but also communication protocols in general, it is the norm that in a decentralized system, you should also write a detailed spec about this thing so that people can implement it. And we think this is pretty important work. If we want to at least if Bitcoin Cash is to at least maintain a reputation as a network where things are clearly documented and people can implement things with reasonable effort if they want to.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think is Bitcoin Verde still working on like the full Bitcoin Cash spec?
Bitcoin Unlimited had a. I need to check. I need to check again, but I believe the second leg of that funding has also come online, where Verde got some money from the Bitcoin Unlimited treasury to work on this. So I think that is going to continue, and it would continue to be the repository will continue to be populated. So hopefully people will have an easier time working with Bitcoin Cash.
Gotcha. That's all I really had for questions. Do you have any questions for me?
Nothing off the top of my head. I just hope that people generally familiarize themselves with Flipstarter and don't be shy about supporting your favorite projects. It doesn't even matter which side you take, whether you like this node or that node. I think it is a great benefit to everyone, and not even just in Bitcoin Cash, that voluntary funding methods can succeed.
Yeah, would be cool to see it take off for sure. Speaking of just like my stream in general, so I used to stream on DLive, and Justin Sun bought it, and he's like migrating the whole DLive blockchain to the Tron blockchain, and now they're taking donations that you send through DLive now takes like 20 to 40% of all donations like the site takes now. And so like Justin Sun's ruining DLive. I think I'm still streaming it there, but if I do stream anymore, it'll be on Twitch if it's not my show. So
sorry if I interrupt.
Go.
But you actually brought up a pretty good point about this, which is that a lot of people, I think they have some sort of misconception about blockchains, and they would say that it's great that we privatize this, and we got all the revenues going to me, and we do things that control this network. This is after all how private companies work, and you rise and fall by your own effort. But I would say that this kind of ruins regardless of this implications on censorship resistance and robustness this kind of privatization effort brings, like the what you mentioned just now about Justin Sun. It kind of ruins one of the advantages in terms of perception and general willingness to adopt a given blockchain or cryptocurrency, which is that generally speaking, even ICO chains like Ethereum, it is important to maintain among the community that this is a decentralized blockchain. It doesn't really belong to anyone, and you are part of it. And when you do things that benefits it, it also benefits yourself, and also all the people around you that are in this community and on the blockchain. By taking DLive and Steam under his private fold, now Steam is just a company that is just a service that is under Justin Sun. And then people will ask themselves, well, why should I do all this? Do I want to do things for Justin? Hell no. And I think it's something to think about. It's not just considered. It's not just a thing that is in context of recent disputes on Bitcoin Cash, but also it applies to the wider cryptocurrency world, especially for chains that seek to change their community structure. Like it's a thing that also plagues some other chains that are centrally controlled. For Zcash, like, okay, I go to Zcash. I consider whether I want to do something for them, and then I see the list, and I see, oh, there's Zero Cash Company. There's a bunch of other guys who have been there forever, and they get money no matter what. Well, I guess if they want to hire me, it's okay. But if they don't hire me, screw them. It's a very common thing, and I think people should not neglect this kind of effect for the long-term survival of things. And because we are so deep into the bear market, these days you start seeing protocols and chains, that have ICO'd back in 2017 and 2018 go bankrupt, and then you ask, wait a second, I thought we are talking about decentralized protocol here. How the heck do they go bankrupt? Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, the decentralization is huge. I mean, no matter what your stance on ABC and the funding protocol, you see the people that don't like it, they just they rose up, right? And they responded. And you could have argued that BCH was centralized around ABC before, but that's because I guess there wasn't really like a tipping point, and then it became apparent that it was decentralized, and the Solana node pops up. And yeah, back to Justin Sun, he basically took Steam over. I mean, he bought the damn thing and had like all the stake in Steam, and the community forked him off, and now their Hive is their new, like, the community of Steam is now Hive. And so Justin Sun like owns Steam, but it's pretty much just like a hollow version of itself now, and Hive now has like a bigger market cap than Steam does. And so you can see this happen in different ways in the space, for sure.
Yeah, well, but in the end, it's that they might or might not succeed. I wish them luck, but it is a very harmful thing for for everybody, all things considered. Well, maybe Justin Sun doesn't care because he has too much money.
Yeah, he does. Yeah,
it's unknown whether either side can recover from this.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, splits. I mean, hard forks with two different chains are usually never a good thing for each of the chains. So hopefully that we can continue to find common ground in Bitcoin Cash, and we don't fork off from each other, and have something that both sides don't like, because that's always the best deals, is when there's both sides don't like it. right? At least they get something that they like in it. So I think I explained that pretty shit, but it's something like that. So
well, I mean, it's been 2.5 years pushing 3, and here we are. And I don't want to mince words. Some people like to be incessantly optimistic. There are things to be optimistic about, but here we are. You look at the market cap, you look at usage. We are at crossroads, and we really don't have that much ground to lose anymore.
No, we don't. Band together, folks. Don't fork. Don't fork, please. The Bitcoin Cash to BTC ratio begs you.
Not just forking and splitting, but
Yeah, splitting. It's a fork, it's a split, whatever.
Doing stupid things in general, because it's you drive, whether it's about driving away people or just do things that historically has turned things into shitcoins.
Yeah, for sure. All right, I think I'll wrap it up here. You got any last thoughts, any last words, any last questions in the chat before we head her off here? Very technical discussion today. It's kind of funny. This my show is all around the fucking place. Last Thursday, I did basically a pure satire where I made fun of Max, who used like very very low IQ stuff, right? And then here we're just like talking about like opcodes and shit. Complete opposites. So welcome to Con Liquidities number 70. Soon I'll get to number 100. That will be a historic day. I'm gonna stream all day. And we got the upgrade fork in 1 month from now. So May 15th. It's April 14th right now. So so exciting. And IFP won't activate. Well, I guess there's still one more window where it could. So, but nobody has even voted for it yet, so I doubt it will activate. So I don't think there's not gonna be a split. Not gonna be split in May. Can I bet on this with AnyHedge? No split?
Not yet.
What use is AnyHedge if I can't bet on a split? Jesus.
And it will be kind of a tricky thing. It will be kind of a tricky thing to make it an oracle on.
Yeah, because it's like, well, there was technically a split like Bitcoin Classic, like, yeah, but where's the hash?
Well, it's not just hash, almost literally nobody gave a shit. So.
Yeah, you bet enough and you put your own hash towards it. All right, thank you so much for your time, and appreciate all you do for Bitcoin Cash, and keep on keeping on, as we say around these parts. Keep on keeping on. So